So you are welcome to this tutorial. This is a corset class and we'll be using the easiest method to cut the corset so that we will all understand it. And if you have been finding it difficult to cut your corset, watching this tutorial will make it possible for you to cut your corset for all bust sizes. The dress we are making is a straight pencil gown and we are using a stretchy fabric. So before we'll be cutting it directly on our fabric, we'll cut it on our pattern paper. This is our pattern paper. Let's dive into the tutorial. So these are the basic lines we need. From here to here is our shoulder line, while the vertical measurements we need from our shoulder line to our upper bust, from upper bust to our bust point to our under bust, and this is our waist line, our hip line, and the full length, the nail line. Sorry, our fabric is longer than this pattern paper, so we'll add to the length when we are cutting on our fabric. When you measured your your measurements this way, the next thing you do is to place your neckline. This neckline I'm drafting here and the shoulder line is just for a guide so that it will be able for us to understand the process. To mark this shoulder line from here to here, I used 9 inches. That is because our shoulder line is 18 inches. Dividing it by 2 will give us 16 inches. Dividing 16 inches by 2 will give us 8 inches plus 1 inch for seam allowance. That is the 9 inches. Then our neck width, we use 4 inches for the neck width. 4 inches for the neck width, and we use 5.5 inches for the neck depth. Then you connect this way. You connect it this way. Now, when you want to cut a corset, you need your nipple to nipple measurement. It is very, very important, and you need your under bust line. It is very, very essential. So once you marked your neckline, your armhole depth, after covering your armhole depth this way, you see, after covering it this way, you mark your nipple to nipple measurement. How do we know our nipple to nipple measurement? Is by dividing the person's bust by 8. Whatever answer you have, you minus 1 inches from it, because your fabric is on fold. It will give you the accurate nipple to nipple measurement. Let's, for instance, the bust I'm working with here is 38 inches. Dividing it by 8 is 37 inches, but I will add 1 inches to it to make it 38. So when we divide 38 inches by 8, it will give us 4 point some inch. Then when we minus 1 from it, will give us 3.75 inches. You see, so the person's nipple to nipple measurement is 3.75 inches. When it is not on fold, it will become 7 point few inch. Let me just say 7 inches. When it is not on fold, it is 7 inches, because that 3.75 inches it gave to us, it is not on fold. But when it is on fold, it will become 2. That 3.75 will give us 7 inches when we fold our fabric. So now, since the person's bust is 38 inches, dividing it by 8 After knowing your nipple to nipple measurements, you bring it out. This, I've marked it now. I've marked it. I marked 4 inches. I marked 4 inches because I add half inches for seam allowance. That is why I marked the 4 inches. So after marking it this way, I'll connect. I'll join the lines. I'll go ahead and join the lines just the way you are seeing me do it. I'll mark it till you see that I've joined the line. So from here to here is 4 inches. That is because I added half inch for seam allowance. So after bringing out your nipple to nipple measurement, make sure you add your half inch for seam allowance before bringing it out. So this is the dart line. In other words, that is the dart line. After making it this way, you come to your upper bust line. Come to your upper bust line and go up by 1 inches. And join it this way. Come up by 1 inch. Then at this your upper bust line, if you want your bust to be exposed, you come down by 1 inch or half an inch. But because I don't want mine to be exposed, I will leave it this way. This person does not want her bust to be exposed, so we'll leave it this way. All we have to do is to connect it now. Connect our neckline. You know, corset is always, the neck is always a sweetheart neck. So when you bring up this your 1 inch up, you connect it like this. If you have your curve ruler, you can use your curve ruler to do this. You come to your shoulder line. Connect it this way. So after connecting it like this, you come to your under bust. This is our under bust. You mark 1 inch this way and 1 inch this way. That is about 2 inches. You come to your bust point and come down by half an inch. That is where you'll be connecting this line to. You connect it like this, kind of curve it a little, not that much, and curve this leg too. If you have your curve rulers, you can use your curve rulers to do this. You see the way I've curved it. You come to your upper bust line and do the same thing. Mark exactly what you mark on your under bust, or you can reduce it if you like, but marking 1 inch here, 1 inch here will make it firm. You come to your bust line and come up by half an inch. Then you connect the lines. Don't curve it much, just very little. See the way it is. So you connect this leg here this way. So you come inside from here by half an inch. You come this way by half an inch because your fabric is unfold. It will be 1 inches. So when you do it this way, you connect it. Let me see. You connect it this way. From this leg, this dark leg, you connect it. Can you see that the cups are curving already? Then after curving this one this way, you mark from here. Whatever you mark from here to here is what you mark here. If the person has a big bust, you add about 1 inch to it. So for instance, we marked 4 inch here, so we're marking that same 4 inches here. But that even the person has a big bust, you add 1 inch to it. But this person, the bust is not that big, so we'll leave it at this 4 inches. Then you connect it from this dark leg. You connect it this way. So you see that the cups are already formed. So we are done with this part. We are coming to this part. This dark line, we are going to extend it to, you come to your hip line and mark 2 inches upward this way, and this is where you are going to connect your dark lines from. You are going to connect it. You mark that same 1 inch you marked at the under bust, you mark it at the waistline. 1 inch here, 1 inch here. You connect your lines. You see, then you mark it, you curve it this way. You see, so this is how it's going to be. From your hip line, come up by 2 inches before connecting it to your waistline this way. And from your waistline to your upper bust, you mark it straight. Make sure it's what you marked on your under bust that you are marking on your waistline. After this, you mark your horizontal measurements. Our bust line is 37. Dividing it by 4 will give us 9.25. 9.25 is 9.5 inch for these little markings here. This from this half here, 1 2, with this little space here, that is the 25. So that is what we will be marking here, plus 2 inches for seam allowance. Let me assume the 9.25. Sorry, the 9.25 is not up to half an inch. It's quarter of half. It's just half of half. So let's assume it's 9.5 plus 2 inches for seam allowance. We have 11.5. I'll make it 12. Then for your Under bust, the under bust we are working with is 31. Divide by 4 will give us 7.75, but we'll make it 8 inches. 8 inches plus these 2 inches you removed, you are going to be cutting out. Make sure you add it back. So we'll add it plus 3 inches for seam allowance. Okay, let me just do it this way for it to be easy for you. These 2 inches here, we'll be adding it now. After adding it, you add 2 inches for seam allowance this way. Then you come to your waistline. Our waistline is 35. Divide by 4 is 8.75. We'll make it 9 inches plus these 2 inches here will give us 11, plus 2 inches for seam allowance will give us 13. Our hip is 43. Divide by 4 is 10.75. We'll make it 11 plus 2 inches for seam allowance will give us 13. When you come to the new part, this new part, whatever you have in your hip line, you minus 2 inches from it and mark it on your new line. That is because the gown is going to be penciled. So to have that pens effect, that is why you are minusing that 2 inches when your fabric is on fold. So we mark 13 here on the hip. We'll be minusing 2 inches. It will now give us about 11 inches. So we are marking 11 inches here. Then you connect your lines. So after bringing out your markings this way, you cut it out. So let me cut. Like I said, this neck depth that we use here is not really necessary. This is just for a guide to help enable to know how deep the neckline is. But if you need a yoke in your dress, in your corset, then you need this part. After drafting it out, this one, when you finish cutting it, you use this one to cut the yoke out on your main fabric. But because we don't need that, we will just cut it out. So you can see the yoke side If you really want to use it, you minus 1 inch from the shoulder line. That is for sloping, but we don't really need it on this tutorial. So you see, this is the yoke. So you see the cuffs. Now you can cut out. So after cutting it out this way, you label your cups so that you'll be able to understand it when you are cutting it on your fabric to avoid mistakes. This one is the center front, and this one is the side. This is the down part of it, center front, and this is the down, this is the up. This is the upper bust line, this is the bust point, upper bust line. You notch. So you can see that this is the final outlook of the pattern. After cutting it out this way, we place it on our fabric and cut. Remember that since it's a stretchy fabric, you don't need too much allowance. We've already added an allowance to all this to the pattern, but I will even reduce the allowance when it comes to the fabric because the fabric is very stretchy. But if your fabric is not a stretchy one, make sure you use the allowance. So let's get over to the fabric part. So before I started cutting, I pinned the pattern paper with the fabric so to avoid the checking. So make sure you pin your own before cutting. I decided to end my dart here. I will not be taking it down any longer. I will just end it here on the hip line, on 2 inches above the hip line. That is where I ended my dart. So you will notch. So this is the outcome of the dress. We'll move to the back part now. So for the cups, you just pin your the pattern on top of the fabric. As you can see, it is unfold, so it is doubled. Remember, when I was cutting the pattern, I did not fold the pattern paper. That's because it's just a pattern paper. But now when I'm cutting it on the fabric, I have to fold my fabric into two, so that I will get this one 2 pieces and the side on 2 pieces. So I'll cut it out now. So this little allowance I add is for same allowance I will use to join it to the other one. Why this one at the upper part is the one that I will use to put the lining inside. So let's cut the side. This one is 2 piece. You also notch this one too. See the way I place it on it. If you are using a stretchy fabric, make sure that the stretchy part is the side that is that will be. Make sure you use the stretchy part as your horizontal lines. Use the stretchy part horizontally. This is the stretchy part. This side is not stretchy. So you use the stretchy part for your horizontal part. Cut out. Then you notch. This is how it's going to look like. So we'll repeat the cutting of these cups again. I will cut I'll use those ones for lining, just the upper part, to not get to the down part. So you can use anything, like you can use either rack up, wadding, or breast tube to form the cup of your corset. It depends on you. Here I'm using they call it nash pad. Here it is like foam. It's not up to 1 inch. The person said she doesn't like breast tube, so decided to use this one for it. Normally they use it to form hip pad, so you can use this one to cut out your patterns. I'll cut exactly what I have on the pattern. I will not add any allowance to it. Remember, it is 2 on 1 bust, 2 on 1 bust, so I'm going to cut them 2 2. So after everything, you sew them. You also notch these ones the way you notch the fabrics. Make sure you align them properly before notching. So this is the end of the video.